Morning, Bob.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Well, we got a lot to talk about, and as always, it centers around this.
And welcome, folks. Sorry about that little intro there. You know, it's live radio, and you just never know what's going to happen with live radio. All right, folks, there's so much to get to today. I am thrilled to death to be back here sitting with you guys, and I just know you guys are thrilled to death to hear my voice, especially when I go like this. Okay, let's get to it. It is amazing every time I think that you just can't get more news in a week than we have a week like we just had, or a couple of weeks like we just had. It is just amazing what is going on, and I'm going to touch on a lot of things, folks. I mean, one of the things that I've got to start the show with is what have we learned? What have we learned this past week? And one of the things that we've learned is the Democrat Party must be sexist. I mean, there is no other, and don't worry, I will explain. But not only do I think that they must be sexist, they must be racist as well. Just look at their people, and I think we have a comment from Legend Dave coming in.
Did you happen to hear Biden's last charming statement?
Oh, gosh. I heard a few of them. Which one was this?
This was today, as a matter of fact.
I did hear this one today where he told a person they were full of
shit.
Yes.
And then he called him a horse's ass.
And then he called him a horse's rear. I'll try and be nice. And then his handler stepped in, and his handler tried to calm him down, and he looked at the handler and said, "I don't work for you." And then he kept going. I mean, this is the nominee that the Democrats are jumping behind, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit, and we're going to talk about what happened and why Biden is going to be, in my opinion, he's going to be the nominee. So I'm definitely going to get to that. So definitely stay tuned for that. But folks, I am 100% serious. I am dead serious when I tell you that it is time to ask, why is the Democrat Party against women? Why is the Democrat Party against people of color? If you're like me, you have got to be sick and tired of being lectured on a daily basis by the Democrat Party, by the lamestream media, by leftists in Hollywood, and anyone else. Even the Never-Trumpers are in on this. But I'm tired of being lectured about diversity. Diversity. Especially when it's election season, all you hear from Democrats, diversity, and all you hear the Democrats do in the media is blame and say the Republicans are racist, that the Republicans have no diversity, and that is just total bullshit. You thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? So I'm fired up today, folks. I'm fired up. So sit down, grab a hold of something, and clear out your ears and hang on. Because I am just, if you could see me, I've had it up to here. And for me, up to here is about 5'4", if I'm wearing the right shoes. And those of you who are laughing out there, stop laughing. Okay, no, you can laugh. All right. Look, let's, we're going to jump around a little bit today, but I'm going to get going on some of this. But I am 100% serious. You've got to start asking. If you're a Democrat out there, you've got to ask yourself and Democrat friends, and you've got to start asking these questions. And again, we're constantly being lectured by the Democrats, the left, and the lamestream media, and we have got to start asking. Okay, well, you're going to lecture me, then why don't you lead by example? This is the question that nobody in the media will ask any Democrat. No Hollywood person, none of these woke Hollywoodians will ask a Democrat. None of you Bernie supporters or Biden supporters or Klobuchar supporters or Warren supporters, when will you ask the question, where is the diversity of the Democrat Party? Where is the leading by example? Folks, you have heard me say this before, and I'm going to say it again. All the Democrat Party is about is it's good for you, but not for us. You need to do these things, but we don't. we're going to pass laws and force you to do these things, but we don't have to do it. We're going to force the private sector into diversity, but we, the Democrat Party, no. We don't need diversity. We have 2 old 80-year-old crotchety white dudes that need to lead this party. That's what's happening right now, folks. Where is the diversity? If you are going to lecture me on a daily basis that I need to put diversity before efficiency, that I need to do everything in my life has got to be, well, is it a black person, a Hispanic person, a yellow person, a gay person, a straight person, a trans person? I'm supposed to put all those things before efficiency. And what happens? Folks, you put diversity before efficiency and you get neither. You put efficiency and qualified people, and you will naturally get diversity. But not according to the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party wants to legislate diversity, wants to force the private sector, wants to force you into diversity first. But not them. Not the Democrat Party. No. And then, folks, let me give you the best example of what right now it's right in front of our faces. Look what happened. Elizabeth Warren had to drop out of this race. She did terrible in her own home state. I mean, her home state of Massachusetts on Super Tuesday last week, they basically told Pocahontas, take your TP, fold it up, and get out of town. Because that's what they did. She finished third, a very bad third in her home state. So that led to her getting out of the race. So, folks, Elizabeth Warren gives this little speech of having to get out of the race. And do you think, now, in this speech, she talked about, she brought up sexism. Okay, this is a Democrat Party, Pocahontas. This isn't a Republican primary. So did you just accuse the Democrat Party of being sexist? I think you did. If you listen to Warren and everything she says, she had to drop out because the Democrat Party is sexist. She had to drop out because they're just not ready for a woman. She had to drop out because they just were against her gender. That's what she's saying, folks. Listen to her. Somebody needs to remind her she's in the Democrat primary. But have you heard anyone in the media? No. The media is just fawning on themselves, going, oh, we're so sad to see Warren go. We're so sad. She made a pinky promise with young girls. Unbelievable when you really think about it. First of all, don't even get me started on Pocahontas' history of appropriating another race or another culture. Because it's already been proven she has no Native American in her, but yet she not only climbed the corporate ladder and got into college and climbed that college ladder and the corporate ladder and the whatever ladder of college there is, she climbed it by faking or lying that she was Native American. And then she doesn't stop there. She gets into the campaign and feels like, oh, I need to really push this sexism, womanism, or whatever she calls it at the time. So she lies and says she got fired for being pregnant. Folks, it is documented. You can look it up. She did not get fired for being pregnant, but yet she will perpetrate this lie over and over and over. Is this the kind of woman that you want your little daughter doing a pinky promise with? And we're supposed to feel bad that she's not in the race? No, you shouldn't. But that's a whole nother point for another day. My point today is, if Elizabeth Warren is running around saying that we have to elect a woman, it has to be a woman, it is time for a woman, and then she drops out of the race because apparently the Democrat Party's not ready for a woman, or at least not her, but to her, she's saying that they must be sexist. So if that's the case, then why doesn't Warren put her money where her mouth is? Why hasn't Elizabeth Warren come out and say no to Biden, no to Sanders, and yes to Tulsi Gabbard? You know, the last I checked, Tulsi Gabbard is a woman. And the last I checked, Tulsi Gabbard is still in this race. But if you listen to the media, you would never know that Tulsi Gabbard was still a candidate for the Democrat presidential nominee. She is still in this race. But not only will they not mention her, folks, they just changed the rules so they could knock her off the debate stage for next week. That is your diversified Democrat Party. So again, they're going to lecture us, but they sure as hell aren't going to lead by example. So why isn't Elizabeth Warren leading by example? Elizabeth Warren is out there trying to get you to shed a tear for her and all the young girls that made pinky promises with her. She wants you to shed a tear for that. But yet, has she gone out and endorsed Tulsi Gabbard, the only woman that's left in the Democrat race? No. Not only has she not endorsed her, Elizabeth Warren said the other day when she dropped out, "It just pains me that there are no other women in the race." Well, by golly, did Tulsi Gabbard have a sex change? Did she have some kind of operation? Because I didn't hear about it. So she's going to sit there and say, not only did Warren say there were no women in this race left, the media, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, they're all out there going, there are no women in this race. What a crying shame. Can you imagine how Tulsi Gabbard must feel? I mean, so you question that you need to ask yourself, especially you Democrats out there, and I love you and thank you for listening, but it's time for you to ask yourself, and it's time for you your Democrat friends to ask themselves, what is wrong with Tulsi Gabbard? Why is she not a woman? Why is she not qualified? She's on the ballot. She was on a couple of debates, and she would have been on. Folks, she qualified for the next debate, but they changed the rules to knock her off the stage. Because why? Apparently, the Democrat Party just believes in old white guys. Biden and Sanders, they want them on that stage by themselves. And they knocked off Tulsi Gabbard. And you know why, folks? Tulsi Gabbard is pretty darn sharp. Now, I don't agree with everything Tulsi Gabbard says, but by golly, I respect her. This woman served for 17 plus years in the armed forces. This woman has seen combat. This woman has done, I think, at least 2 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, one or the other. So, folks, chew on that for a moment. We're going to go take our first break here, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to get right back into this. Don't you go anywhere. This is America's Web Radio. You're listening to On Point with Victor.
Want to give your family or loved one the perfect gift? Then go online and check out the TornadoBodyDryer.com. I love mine and the warm heat air massage it gives me after my shower. The Tornado Body Dryer is super. You'll love it, and you'll love having one in your shower.
Good morning. My name is Mike Mizell. I'm a retired Army colonel and president of the Johns Creek Veterans Association. We meet in Newtown Park, and part of one of our projects is the installation of the Healing Wall, the half-scale model of the Vietnam Wall that traveled the United States. Well, it's coming to rest, and it's going to live in Johns Creek forever, the half-scale model. We're looking at possibly a March implementation ribbon cutting ceremony, and we're looking for donors and sponsors that want to help us in this great project. You can donate at jcvets.org.
This is David Donaldson with the Atlanta Healing Center, conveniently located in Lawrenceville, Georgia. At AHC, your success is our goal. Addiction recovery is about more than just not using. It's about becoming a whole person and addressing all aspects of your physical, psychological, and social needs. Please call us at 770-696-9862, or you can reach us on the web at www.atlantahealingcenter.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And welcome back, folks. Okay, let me do this. You are listening to America's Web Radio. I am Victor Armendariz. Okay, and this is On Point with Victor, in case you forgot. So let's get right back to this. Look, I've already had a listener astutely point out that one of the reasons why they're ignoring Tulsi Gabbard is Tulsi Gabbard has the audacity to actually stand up for freedom and liberty, or at least she gives some lip service to freedom and liberty. When was the last time you heard any Democrat mention freedom or liberty in their speech? Think about that. Or individualism. Think 3 words, folks. 3 words. If you don't hear a politician say 3 words in any speech that they give, freedom, liberty, and individualism. If you don't hear those 3 words, you need to walk away. I don't care if they're Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, whatever they call themselves. If they're running for an office and they can't mention the word liberty, the word freedom, and the word individualism, if they can't mention those in their speech, then you need to walk away from them. They do not deserve your vote. And again, I don't care what party they're with. There are plenty of establishment Republicans that have forgotten what freedom and liberty and individualism is, and they've forgotten what it means, and they need to go out too. Look, there is truth to what this listener just said, or just sent me a message and said. Tulsi Gabbard actually has the audacity to stand up for freedom, for liberty. And folks, if you listened the other day, she had an interview and was talking about getting shut off of the debate stage. And she's putting up a fight, but folks, they're not going to let her on that stage. Look, you've got 80-year-old Biden and 80-year-old socialist Sanders. You got Quid Pro Joe, who doesn't know where he is. I mean, his campaign motto is "I'm Joe Biden," and I forgot this message. You've got Socialist Sanders, whose motto is, "I haven't met a dictator that I don't love. Let's be Venezuela." You've got those 2 guys, and if Tulsi Gabbard was on that stage with them, she would steal the show. I tell you right now, if Tulsi Gabbard was on the debate stage like she's supposed to be next week, she would run circles around Sanders and Biden. And she would be able to do it because there would only be the 3 of them on that stage. And she would outshine both of them. And then that would put this race into even further turmoil. But we've got to get to look. I know that's one of the reasons, because Tulsi says some of the things she says. Tulsi actually agrees, and no useless wars. Folks, I have told you before, the Democrat Party loves war. And those of you Democrats out there can laugh at me when you're hearing this, but you can look at history. The Democrat Party loves wars. The establishment Republicans love wars. It is one way to get some money going through with defense contract. And don't get me wrong, I am not a libertarian who believes in isolationism. I am a constitutionalist who believes that war is a last resort. But I also believe we need to have the strongest damn military in the world, and we shouldn't put a price tag on it. And you heard that right. We shouldn't put a price tag on having the strongest, most prepared, most capable military in the world. There should be no veteran that goes without. There should be no active military person that goes without. There should be no military spouse that goes without. You heard that right. There should be no price tag on our military, on our women and men in uniform, past and present, active, non-active. There should be no price tag. They need and deserve every penny we give them, and it needs to be more. Now, that being said, war needs to be a last resort, but your Democrat Party loves war. And Tulsi Gabbard has the guts to stand up and counter that. She does not believe in endless wars. So what do? They knock her off the stage and they ignore her. Folks, take a moment today and look up Tulsi Gabbard. Look her up on YouTube and just listen to her. Now, again, I do not agree with most of what she says. She still has Democrat socialist policies. They all do. Today's Democrat Party is basically socialist. But at least Tulsi Gabbard will stand up for the country, and she is a respectable lady. And like I said, she's done amazing things by serving for her country. So She is an amazing lady, and I can say that and not support her for president. I can support her as a candidate, though, which is unlike what the Democrat Party's doing, and the media is not doing it. Look her up, folks. Tulsi Gabbard. She is running for president, and they knocked her off the debate stage because they didn't want her to outshine Biden and Sanders. See, they could hide her before. When Warren was on there, when Klobuchar was on there, when Buttigieg was up there, Tulsi Gabbard was off to the side, and they could overshadow. They didn't have to go to her. They didn't have to spend time letting her answer questions. But next week, she was going to be on the stage with Biden and Sanders, only 3 of them. And she would have shined, and they just can't have that in the Democrat Party. Can't have women making it in the Democrat Party, apparently. Can't have diversity making it in the Democrat Party. And folks, while we're talking about diversity, my goodness, let's go back to what is her name? Kamala Harris. Let's go back to Cory Booker. They were trashing Joe Biden. And now over the weekend, they came out. And what did they do? Well, they pretended like they never said anything bad about Joe Biden, while Joe Biden is the great white hope. Suddenly, Cory Booker, who basically said, you can't have a president unless he's black. Now, I'm paraphrasing. I'm just telling you what I think he meant when he said some things. That the only way to go is a black president, 100% black president. But now, over the weekend, Joe Biden is the great white hope that the Democrats need. Kamala Harris, apparently, you remember, and you can go look it up, in one of the first 2-3 debates, she basically called Biden out for being, that racist word they always call people, Republicans. Well, she just threw that right out there at Biden. And she reminded him that he actually voted for segregation of the buses, back then, black kids on buses. She pointed it out. And hey, rightfully so. And she pointed out Joe Biden was awfully cozy with a couple of, let's just say Klansman type. She pointed that out. Nothing wrong with that. But now, this weekend, she pretends like she never said that. And Joe Biden is the great white hope. So the Democrat Party kicks off the only woman of... Look, you've got a woman and a person of color in Tulsi Gabbard. Let me repeat that. A person of color and a woman in Tulsi Gabbard. And they threw her off the stage and they pretend like she doesn't exist so they can go with the great white hope Biden and socialist Sanders. And I mean, folks, you can't get any whiter than that. And I know some of you out there are laughing at me for harping on this whole identity politics. Look, the Democrat they live and breathe identity politics. And the Republicans don't. Now, maybe not all Republicans, but your Freedom Caucus, your freedom-loving, your independent-minded Republicans, they don't see color. They see character. But your Democrat Party can't make a decision without seeing color first. It's all about identity. So that's why I want you to understand that you have a Democrat Party and a lamestream media that is going to lecture you and me every single day and call us racist, call us bigots, call us every name in the book but a child of God. And then they're going to turn around and do the very thing they accuse us of being or doing. There is just no excuse, folks. And the question needs to be asked. Where is the so-called journalist that will ask Biden and Sanders, why won't you allow a woman of color to be on the stage? That question needs to be asked. Why isn't the DNC right now being bombarded by journalists demanding an answer to, why will you not allow a woman on the debate stage? Why will you not allow a person of color on the debate stage? Folks, if this was the other way around, and we had a Republican primary and you had 3 candidates, 2 were white and 1 was a woman and a person of color, and she got knocked off the debate stage, the Democrats and the media would be going nuts. I mean, they wouldn't be able to call you racist fast enough. But again, folks, it's good for you, but not for them. It's a must for you, but not for them. You must live this way, but not them. Folks, I'm telling you, at some point, you've got to wake up and stop being married to the letter D. And I am not telling you to go run into the arms of the letter R, because the establishment Republicans have some issues too. And I'll get to those later. But on the whole, the Republican Party, the new people coming up in the Republican Party, the Freedom Caucus, the independent-minded, the conservative, constitutional-loving Republicans that are coming up today, folks, why don't you do this exercise for me? Especially if you're a Democrat. Go out and Google or do a DuckDuckGo search on all the Republican candidates for 2020. There are a ton of black conservatives running in 2020. There is a Muslim woman running as a conservative in 2020 on the Republican ticket. There is an Indian. There is there's Hispanics, there's blacks, there's every bit of the diversity the Democrats pretend and wish they were, you're seeing in the Republican Party. And the Republican Party didn't have to run around on TV and call the Democrats racist. The Republican Party didn't have to go make all these pretend accusations. No, it's naturally happening. Because if you do efficiency first, diversity naturally happens. All right, folks, we'll be right back.
Get your pen and paper ready. If there's a move in your near future, I'm here to tell you that the folks I used and now recommend is Around Town Movers. Timothy and the guys recently moved me, and I am and was totally satisfied with a sometimes not so fun experience moving. Call Timothy at 770-378-4708 and make it a good move and a good experience. Around Town Movers for that local or cross-country move. Timothy, Around Town Movers, in my opinion, are the best. That's Around Town Movers. Call them.
Perhaps you are struggling to cope with the disease of addiction. If not, you probably know a family member or friend that needs help in battling the cravings and the personal and professional damage done by the effects of drugs or alcohol. Get a pen and paper and be ready to write down the following. These are the issues that the trained staff at the Atlanta Healing Center address and treat every day. Their doctors and counselors with over 40 years of practice in the field of addiction can treat the suffering individual in a thoughtful, compassionate, and experienced manner and guide him or her along the path to recovery. So call 770-696-9862 and speak to a knowledgeable staff member about how you or your loved one can be helped to enjoy a better and healthier life. More information is also available on the website at www.atlantahealingcenter.com.
If your health insurance premium is more than your mortgage, Ellen Deal with Ideal Solutions is here to help. Whether you're a small business owner, individual, family, or baby boomer, email maga45cag@gmail.com and I'll respond with 3 easy questions to help you determine if you can get away from Obamacare. As a 20-year veteran of the insurance industry, I'm here to help with all your insurance needs. Email Ellen Deal at maga45cag@gmail.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And we are back, folks. We are back again. You're listening to America's Web Radio. This is On Point with Victor. Okay, let's get into some other things here. But again, folks, it's passion that you're hearing from me, so hopefully I'm not blowing your ears off. And don't think I'm mad. I'm just right. And when you're right, you can be pretty passionate. So, all right, let me do a little bit of the rundown. Some of the things that I'll try and get to today. We'll cram as much in as we possibly can. But we already touched on the number one thing in my rundown today, and the On Point with Victor topic rundown was Democrats are sexist and racist. So, boy, How do you think they like that, or would like that foot to be on the other shoe, or shoe to be on the other foot? Boy, I'll get it out at some point here. Look, folks, I just got back from Mexico, and sometimes the Spanish is a little bit, I gotta weed the Spanish out and bring the English back in, because when you spend 7-8 days where you're mostly speaking Spanish, it sometimes it just doesn't switch back as fluidly as I would like. So we're actually lucky that I haven't actually broken out the Spanish here. So while I'm at it, bienvenidos a mi show, On Point con Victor. Gracias por your... Okay, I'll stop. Look, so that was the number one thing on the list. Democrats are sexist and racist, and that question needs to be asked. And I would give anything to see the media just do their freaking job. Be a journalist for once. And you don't have to be as blatant and blunt as me. Just someone get some journalistic integrity and ask the DNC, ask Sanders, ask Biden, why won't you let the only person of color, the only woman who's left in the Democrat race, why won't you let her be on the stage? Why are you ignoring her? That's what I would love to see happen. But they won't do it, folks. In fact, I'm sure there's some of you out there right now who have probably never heard of Tulsi Gabbard. And folks, she's been in the race the whole time. I'm pretty sure she got in the race before Biden, probably not before Sanders, but she's been in the race for a while. But anyway, all right, folks. So then one of my other topics on the rundown today is the corona hysteria. Look, folks, the corona hysteria, the virus, and if you're a Democrat out there, or if you're in certain parts of California, certain parts of New York, even the city of Atlanta, it is safe to drink Corona beer. It is okay. Sí puedes tomar cerveza de Corona. It's okay to drink the Corona beer. You will not get the coronavirus. I'm going to get some phone calls on that one. Okay, look, the corona hysteria, the media has gone absolutely berserk, folks, because they see a target, and that target is Trump. It's the Democrat Party. It's the media. They're all together on this, and I am in no means diminishing the coronavirus. I mean, there is an outbreak, but folks, the media isn't telling you the truth. The media, in fact, has taken China's side. Folks, China is communist. There is no election in China. There is no president of China who is beholden by his people. There is a figurehead in China who's the communist leader who calls himself a president. It's all propaganda. President Xi is over there blaming the United States for the coronavirus, when we know damn well, and he knows, that the coronavirus came out of Wuhan, China. In fact, we should be referring to this as the Wuhan virus. In fact, from now on, the On Point with Victor show will refer to the coronavirus as the Wuhan virus, because it originated and escaped in Wuhan, China. So it will be forever known now as the Wuhan virus on this show. And when China, they're communist, look, they own the media. Just like Obama basically still owns the media here, 98% of it in this country. The state-run media in China, the communist media-run, communist-controlled media in China is telling their people that the United States created this virus and let it loose. That's what they're telling their people. And you have media folks here in this country who are basically giving China better treatment than they're giving the United States government, who actually, folks, if you look at the way Trump, let me take you down a history trip here, because I'm old enough to remember December of 2019 and January of 2020, very long, 3 months ago, 3.5, 4 months ago, when this coronavirus, the Wuhan virus, when it was made public that the Wuhan virus was let loose or was spreading in China, as soon as Donald Trump heard, and this was in the late December when everybody heard about this, President Trump gathered his cabinet and some advisors, and he said, I'm going to stop flights from China. I'm going to stop allowing, we're going to seize anything coming in from China. We're not going to let it come in. Folks, he had advisors that told him, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You're reacting. You're overreacting. You're acting too soon. Don't do that. It could have political consequences. But he did it anyway, because President Trump has pretty darn good instincts. And he immediately shut down flights coming from China. Folks, this was in the end of December and in January. And what did you hear from the Democrats? And look it up for yourself. The Democrats made fun of Trump. They called him a xenophobe. They said he was using this as an excuse to close borders. They said he was using this to build up the wall. They accused him of everything but doing the right thing. Folks, do you know how bad this outbreak would be right now in the United States if Trump hadn't listened to his instincts and if he hadn't done what he did? Because he took action. But you're not hearing this in the media. But that's what happened, folks. You can look it up. You can do a Nexus Lexus search, and you can look at the news stories from late December to early January of the media making fun of Trump and calling him a xenophobe because he stopped flights coming in from China as soon as we got word of the Wuhan virus, that it was loose and it was on an outbreak. That was a decisive decision. He didn't need to put his finger in the air and wave it. He didn't ask his advisors what the people would think or what the Democrats would do. He just did it. He did it on behalf of keeping the American people's safety in his number one duty. But you won't hear that anywhere. You won't hear that in the media. No. And now what's happening? Fast forward to today, and you've got the Democrat Party and the media accusing Trump of doing nothing, accusing Trump of dropping the ball. I mean, all these made-up things they're doing when they're the ones that were making fun of him for shutting down flights coming from China. And he did it immediately. He did it in December, folks. December. So imagine how many cases we would have now had he not done that in December. Because look, folks, here's the truth. The truth of the matter is, before the Wuhan virus, before China let out the news that the Wuhan virus was spreading, it was out there. It was out there in early November, probably before November. So there were plenty of people who traveled back and forth. That is why this virus is popping up now in other places. This is why you're going to see more cases in the United States. You're going to see more cases because there have been carriers here since November. Because with this virus, it's basically the flu. You can have you can have it and never have symptoms. You can actually carry and transmit and spread the virus without ever having a symptom. You could also, if you're young and healthy or younger and healthy, you could have had it, got over it, and you didn't know you had the corona strain. Because the average age of death from the coronavirus, the Wuhan virus, is 80 years old, just as the regular flu. The death rate from the regular flu every year is way higher for elderly than the Wuhan virus is. But you're not going to hear that in the media. And like I said, there are people here that once they get tested, it's going to show that they had the Wuhan virus. So you're going to see the cases jump, but that is no reason to panic. The media is using this, and the Democrats are using this to try and go after Trump. And this, you really, really, really need to realize and ask yourself again this question. How can you support a political party that is the Democrats when they are so willing to relish in the downfall of an economy? And not that we're having a downfall, but we are having a reaction to look, folks, the down spiral in the market is due to an oil spat between Saudi Arabia and Russia. The last downward spiral. But before that, yes, it's this whole virus scare. They're using it to try and drive down the economy. But how can you support a party that is actively hoping that we hit a recession? Folks, the Democrat Party will not be hurt by a recession. Washington, D.C. will never experience a recession. Government workers will never experience a recession. An elected career politician will never experience a recession. But you will. I will. Your blue-collar worker will. Your baggage handler for Delta will. The guy that's out there that has to clean the airplanes, he will. She will. The very people that the Democrats lie year after year after year after year, they lie to and say that they're for, they are willing to hurt. The Democrat Party is willing to cause pain to you and me, but not to them. No, no, no. There will be no pain to them, but they're willing to inflict pain on you and me and we the people in order to gain power, in order to give a gut punch to Trump and take him down, which is what they've been trying to do. They're willing to hurt average Americans. Think about that, folks. This is not hyperbole. I'm not making this up. This is pure logic. This is pure common sense, perfect analysis coming from On Point with Victor. It's the hard truth. And we need to sit back and start asking the questions to Democrat officials, party members, whatever. How can they live with themselves by hoping that American people get hurt from a recession because they don't like the current duly elected president? It's just downright scary, folks, and it's awful. But that's what's going on. That is what's going on. They want to use this virus and hysteria. Look, folks, I just got back from Mexico, and there's business as usual. Yes, there are people with masks. Yes, there are people that are wiping their hands every 5 seconds with sanitizer. And yes, they wash their hands more religiously than I've ever seen people wash their hands, and it's great. But they're out doing business day to day. The airports were full. The planes were full. I took 3 flights when I was down there. The planes were full. Business is going on. The restaurants were full. The streets were full. And then I come back here, and the media would have you think that end of times were here. They would have you think that we've got a straight up zombie apocalypse going on. And it's just not the case, folks. It's just not the case. And because of the actions that Donald Trump took in December and January, we don't have as much of an outbreak as we would have had he not done anything. So you've got to keep things in perspective. You've got to keep things. And let me talk a little bit about the state of the economy. Folks, this downward spiral is artificial. The economy is strong. Companies are strong. This is nothing like 2008. Nothing like that. This economy right now is being artificially brought down. And I'm going to go ahead and take the next break, because when I get back, I'm going to explain. I'm going to put it in perspective for you. And then I'm going to tell you why. It's bargain hunting time. So you stay tuned. You're listening to On Point with Victor, America's Web Radio. We'll be right back.
The disease of addiction is a life-altering challenge, not just for the person suffering its effects, but also for the family and friends who support and love the one caught in its grasp. What should be the course of treatment? Who is the best person to render treatment? And what is the best place to go for the care that is needed? We know that you want answers to these and many more questions. Call 770-696-9862 and speak to a representative of the Atlanta Healing Center. They can tailor a program specifically designed to address the needs of the person suffering with an addiction, or give you guidance as to where that help may be found. Information is the key, and the trained staff at AHC is here to assist. If you wish, you can also get more information on the website located at www.atlantahealingcenter.com.
Get your pen and paper ready. If there's a move in your near future, I'm here to tell you that the folks I used and now recommend is Around Town Movers. Timothy and the guys recently moved me, and I am and was totally satisfied with a sometimes not so fun experience moving. Call Timothy at 770-378-4708 and make it a good move and a good experience. Around Town Movers for that local or cross-country move. Timothy, Around Town Movers, in my opinion, are the best. That's Around Town Movers. Call them.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And we're back. All right, folks. I just had an awesome listener send me a note, and you guys down there in Florida, you guys are great. I can't thank you enough. Look, folks, I've got these awesome listeners in Daytona, and they just mentioned one of the statements I just made should be on a T-shirt. And you know what? I think I'll do that. And that'll be just something we'll put up at americaswebradio.com when I get them done, and you'll be able to purchase them. And this will be a lot of fun. So thank you for the idea, my wonderful listeners down in Daytona. I'm going to work on that. So, all right, folks. I want to move on a little bit. First, let me, when we left there, the last segment, I was talking about the economy. Let me just put this into perspective real quick. Look, it's bargain hunting time. The economy is fine. The bottom line of companies is probably the better than they've been in a long time. There's no artificial buildup here in the market. These are companies that are actually very, very, very strong. Foundationally, they're strong. There's earnings. They're strong. Hiring has never been this strong. So when you see something like this hysteria with a virus it's artificially driving the market down, it's going to rebound. Ladies and gentlemen, I will predict to you today, right now, that all of this is going to backfire on the Democrats, and it's going to backfire big, because in 30, 40, 60 days, the American people are going to realize that the Wuhan virus is not the zombie apocalypse. And they're going to want to get out of their houses. They're going to want to get back into doing what they love to do, whether that's going out to eat, whether that's flying for vacation, whether that's whatever it is. The norms of business is going to come back, because the American people have that yearning, that inside spirit to be free, that spirit of get out and do things. It's going to come back. It might take 30, 40, 60 days, but they're going to realize that the zombie apocalypse isn't here. The media is making this more than it should be, and they're going to get back to their business. They're going to get back to doing what they love to do. And when that happens, we're going to have the market is going to just rocket back up. The economy itself is going to rocket back up. That's going to send third quarter and fourth quarter GDP probably through the roof, just in time for the November elections. And folks, if we go into the third quarter like I think we're going to go into, it's going to be gangbusters, then Donald J. Trump is going to have one heck of a landslide. And again, folks, things can happen. Real world events change events. Events matter. So I'm not saying that something else couldn't happen and make it harder for President Trump. But right now, I think we're actually looking good. And all of this, as usual, I do believe is going to backfire on the Democrats. Because, again, the market's being brought down artificially. The market's not coming down because there's a housing crisis. The market's not falling because there's companies that have been overinflated. The market's not falling because they've lied about earnings. The market's not falling because they've overemployed. The market is falling because two reasons right now. One, the media hysteria, trying to convince you that we're on the brink of death. We're on the brink of zombies taking over. And two, the spat between Saudi Arabia and Russia. Folks, those two countries aren't exactly friends. And when they bicker about oil and Russia won't play games, and then Saudi starts manipulating the price, that sends the market into hysteria. It sends it into I can't even get the word out that I'm thinking of, but it sends it into a territory that where it's unstable. And anytime a government tries to manipulate price, anytime somebody messes with the private sector pricing, this kind of stuff happens. It's happened before, and it will happen again, and it's happening now. So that's going to work itself out. And folks, I'm telling you, there's going to be a roarback, and Trump's going to ride this wave, and the Democrats aren't going to know what hit them. I truly believe that the Democrat Party is dumb enough right now to think that they have Trump on the ropes. And they're going to be sadly mistaken. And it's going to be fun to watch. As usual, it's going to be fun to watch. Okay, I got to get into something else here before we end the show. Folks, if you didn't hear what Chuck Schumer did the other day, then you got to go look it up on YouTube before they ban it. But Chuck Schumer, I'm going to be nice. He's a senator in New York. He threatened 2 sitting justices on the Supreme Court. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this has never happened. This is unprecedented. You know, the media loves to say unprecedented, and the Democrats love to say Donald Trump unprecedented. Well, it is unprecedented that we have a sitting senator go to the steps of the Supreme Court and threaten 2 Supreme Court justices. He called them out by name. Chuck Schumer called out Kavanaugh, called out Gorsuch, and told them, if you don't start voting the way we think you should vote, you will bear the consequences. Now, I'm paraphrasing, and Schumer was much worse than the words I just used. Now, folks, this is ridiculous, and it should not stand. And if you are a Lindsey Graham fan, if you're a McConnell fan, then you better cover your ears in 3, 2, 1, cover them. Because I am sick and tired of Lindsey Graham, and I'm sick and tired of McConnell. And if you people out there in South Carolina and in Kentucky do not throw these 2 out of office, then this is on you. It is on you. I am so sick of Lindsey Graham coming on and grandstanding every week, whether it be on a radio show or a TV news show, telling you and me what he's going to do. I'm going to subpoena. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I won't stand for what Schumer. I won't this. Words, folks. They're all election season words. Where is the action? There is no way on God's green earth that Senator Schumer shouldn't be censored. They should have censored him immediately. And here we are, I don't know, what are we, 2, 3, 4, 5 days after him threatening 2 Supreme Court justices right there on video for all to see, and he hasn't been censored yet. But there's plenty of verboseness, for lack of a better word. I don't even know, Roger, if that's a word. But, well, I know verbose is a word, but he's out there saying all these beautiful words, Lindsey, and I'm talking about Lindsey Graham and McConnell, how they're not going to stand for this from Schumer. But have they done anything, folks? They haven't done a darn thing. And I'm really getting. Yeah, right. Maybe they need to sit down for it. But Chuck Schumer should be censored, and he should be censored right away, and that's the least that should happen to him. He ought to be run out of the Senate. I am tired of Schumer. And look, folks, let me tell you what Schumer was doing. Schumer doesn't, at least I don't think he really wants to cause harm to the justices, but he wants to put out the persona that he's this tough guy and that he's willing to go mano a mano with these Supreme Court justices, and he's trying to fire up a base. Now, look, folks, this is dangerous what he's doing, because he could cause violence against these Supreme Court justices. But you've got Schumer out there. I mean, come on, folks, if you don't know who Chuck Schumer is, look him up. Here's this guy in New York, and I sure hope Mark the Shark is listening, because he's going to get a kick out of this. Because you've basically got Schumer, who's this older Jewish guy up there in New York who really wants to be tough. My name is Schumer. I'm Chuck Schumer, senator from New York, and don't make me mad. When you make me mad, you won't like it. That's basically how he sounds. Look him up, folks. All right, that may not be the best impersonation, but that's basically what Chuck Schumer's trying to act all tough and all. And it just really chaps me, because if this were the other way around, they would have run any Republican out of office. And I'm really, in case you haven't noticed, I'm fed up with these grandstanding Democrats, and I'm fed up with the grandstanding establishment Republicans. Folks, we have got to, the movement that we need in this country, we don't need a revolution. We darn sure don't need socialism. But what we do need, we need a movement to get career politicians out of Washington. We have got to start throwing these guys out. I know that you people in Kentucky, maybe you want to like McConnell. And you guys in South Carolina, you're happy with what Lindsey Graham did when he took up for Kavanaugh. Look, I'm glad he did it too. But no action, Lindsey, is I've had enough of him. And I'm sorry, when you've been in Congress for 30 years, it's time for you to go. So that is my message to you folks. We need to start a movement, and we need to get the career politicians. We've got to make it clear that we've got to get them out of office. I know I really upset the establishment. They get mad with me, and boy, I stepped in it just there. I'll get some emails and I'll get some calls, but I don't care. You know why? Because I'm right, and most of you out there know that I'm right. Which I think is going to be on the T-shirt, thanks to the idea from the listeners in Daytona. So be on the lookout for the new On Point with Victor T-shirt. I'm not mad. I'm just right. That's going to be coming up soon. So look, folks. I can get a little passionate, but if we don't start throwing out these career politicians, think about it, folks. Why on earth should anyone be in politics for 30, 40, 50 plus years? Why should we let them live off the tax dollars? Why should we listen to them? If they can't get it right in 30, 40 years, they shouldn't be there. It's time to pass the baton. And we've got, as voters, we have that power. We don't need term limits. We can impose term limits anytime we want if we just get off our butts and go vote and find a good candidate to take one of these careers politicians out. There are good people out there, and it's time to give the mantle to someone else, because these career politicians have got to go. And folks, just go back and do a Nexus Lexus search, or go back and search YouTube and watch all the times that Lindsey Graham stands up in grandstands and McConnell, and then they do nothing. It's nothing but words, folks, and I'm tired of words. It's time for action. All right, and that being said, it's also time for the end of On Point with Victor. Look, folks, I know this hour goes by quick, and don't worry, we will be back next week for more show. But right now, stay tuned, because to my left is Roger B., who is the host of Locked and Loaded. So that is coming up, folks. Don't go anywhere. I might even stay around for a couple of minutes. All right, folks, goodbye.
The Docs for Patients